Hello, welcome to Engineer's Mindset. Now I'm going to show you how to differentiate from chain rule. I'm going to show you all the chain rule is all about. Now let's say y is a function of u. This means that y depends on the values of u to be defined, and u itself u is what a function of x. So which means that u depends on x to be defined. So this actually means that y is what indirectly what depending on the value of what x, because y is a function of u, but u is a function of x. So for the fact that y is a function of u, it only means that I can only differentiate y with respect to u because y depends on u to be defined. So I can only find the y, the u, because y is not directly depending on the value of what x, it's indirectly depending on x. So I can only find what the y, the u. So we can call that f prime of u. Also, since u is a function of x, it means now that I can only differentiate u with respect to what x, because u depends on the value of what x. So I can simply find the u with respect to x, and I can call that f prime of x. Okay, now I want to transform this equation into what? Dy dx. Okay, I want to transform this into dy dx. So that simply means that I'm going to have dy du, which is this function I have here, multiplied by what? Du, simply what? Dx, multiplied by du dx. So here is the idea now. If I join these products together, I'm simply going to have dy du all over du dx. So notice now that du can actually cancel what? Du. So I will simply be left that dy dx on this side is also equal to what? Dy dx, which is this dx. Okay, so that is the idea behind what? Chain rule of differentiation. So y is not dependent on x directly, y is dependent on x indirectly, since y is a function of u and u is a function of x. So I'm only permitted to differentiate y with respect to what? U alone. And I'm also permitted to differentiate u with respect to x. If I multiply the two values together, I'm going to now obtain what is called the chain rule. This is called the chain rule of differentiation. The y du times du dx. So we are going to apply this rule now and solve problems. Let's try a first example and see what it's all about. Okay, so let's say we have y to be equal to cos 2x. Okay, so if y is equal to cos 2x and I'm asked to find dy dx, now this is what I will do. I will simply say let u be equal to what? 2x. So I'm saying that let this value 2x are represented by what? U. So that simply now means that y is now equal to what? Cos u, because I'm saying u represents what? 2x. So y is now equal to what? Cos u. So you're seeing now that y depends on the value of what? U at this point. Meanwhile, u is now a function of what? X here. So this shows that u is simply what? A function of x, because any value I assign to x here will give me what? U. Also, from here, it also shows that y is now a function of what? Only u. Y now depends on u. So if I call u to be 30 degrees, I'm going to have a value for y. Meanwhile, if I select x to be 1, I'm going to have a value for u, because u now depends on x, y depends on u. So this means I can only differentiate y with respect to u. It also means I can only differentiate u with respect to x. Alright, so simply dy du, if I'm differentiating y now with respect to u, if I differentiate cos, I'm simply going to have minus sine u. So you have this. Also from u equals to 2x, if I differentiate u with respect to x, du dx, I'm simply going to have what? 2. I've always said if you're differentiating a variable and that variable is raised to the power of 1, simply use the number behind the variable to what that is the derivative. So if I differentiate 2x, since x is to the power of 1, differentiation becomes what? The number attached to it, which is what? Simply 2. So du dx simply gives me what? 2. Now I want to find the y dx. Okay, I want to find the y dx from chain rule. Okay, from chain rule, I simply have that the y, the x is simply what? The product of the two derivatives. Multiply the two derivatives, this way the y dx, and that is dy du times du dx. Okay, so that means the y du, the y dx is now equal to the y du give me minus sine u, so I have minus sine u multiplied by du dx simply give me what? 2. So I have multiplied by 2. So the y dx is now equal to minus 2 sine u. But recall that we said u is equal to what? 2x. We said let u be equal to 2x. Okay? So that means in place of this u now, I will now replace it with 2x. So that now implies now that dy dx is equal to minus 2 sine 2x. So that simply becomes the answer. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. I'm sure you do. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and of course share your thoughts in the comment section, like the video, and of course turn on the notification bell to get more updates. I will see you in the next video with more questions on chain rule differentiation. Thanks.